This is In the Trenches, broadcast 48.
Welcome to In the Trenches, where entrepreneurs, artists, writers, designers, inventors, warriors, and leaders share their stories of doing the hard, creative work that impacts all of our lives. Let the journey inspire you to do something worthwhile, build something bold, and create your life's work. And now, your host, Tom Morkis.
Welcome back, everyone, to another broadcast of In the Trenches. Today's guest is Hani Mourra, the founder of simplevideopress.com and the founder of simplepodcastpress.com. And a little bit about Hani. He's a software engineer, online marketing coach, and father of two beautiful girls. Hani's passion is showing small business owners how easy video marketing and podcasting could be and how to use these powerful platforms to generate targeted leads online. Hani, it's great to have you here with us, man.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. That's a quick bio, but I'm curious to know a little bit more about you and how you started both Simple Video Press and Simple Podcast Press, and then we can dig into those a little bit more.
Sounds good. I got into like online marketing and back in 2005, and that's I started a blog. One of my passions with video. I love creating video, and I thought it was fun, and it's fun. It's a good marketing tool as well. But at that time I didn't realize. I just enjoyed teaching people how simple video was. So I started a blog 2005, and it's still up and running. It's not as current as I'd like it to be, but the idea was let's teach people how simple video can be with all these great tools, great technology out there. It's simple and affordable. And that's how I kind of got my feet wet with blogging back in 2005. And I tended to do videos, like YouTube videos, how to create a PowerPoint, convert it to a video, and there's different how-to type things. And I really liked that. I got some great feedback, and people liked my teaching style. So I kept it up for a few years. And then I reached a point kind of last year, and I said, I need to take it to the next level. I wasn't really monetizing it. It was more of for fun. And I said, let me add more value. Let me create something that's besides just training videos. And I ended up thinking, wait a second, I have my software engineering is kind of what I studied back in school. Let's combine software and video together. And so I'm thinking, what product, what can I do? And then I thought of a problem I was having. So when I published videos to my WordPress site, it was, I spent so much time on the video, and I get tired. By the time I publish a video on YouTube and all the optimization and titles and et cetera, that kind of stuff, I thought, then I have to go and duplicate some of the work to put it on my WordPress site. Then I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way. Once I put it on YouTube, I just want it to show up on my website automatically. Mm-hmm. And that's how the idea came about for the Simple Video Press. It's an automatic tool that will take all your videos. Every time you publish it, and automatically make a new page on your site, a new blog post, and fill it out for you, embed the video, do all the work for you. And that's kind of what inspired me to create my first product, which was Simple Video Press.
So tell me a little bit about the creation process and how you launched it. How long did it take? Were you doing it by yourself? When you first released it, how was that process?
Yeah, absolutely. It was my first kind of software product that I was creating and launching. So, first I wanted to create it. So I have a software background, but I knew I couldn't dedicate full time to develop it myself. So first thing I did was look to outsource some of the work. So that's definitely a good strategy. I recommend anybody getting started. You can't do everything yourself, so there's nothing wrong with outsourcing. So I came up with the concept myself. I wrote it down, paper or Evernote. I can't remember what I used exactly, but I jotted down the gist of it. Like, what problem am I solving? And it was a problem that I was having, so it was very clear what the problem was. I sketched it out, and then I put on an ad on Odesk for a WordPress developer. And it's a great process, but it does take time. So by the time I found the right person, you obviously have to go through a few people, and I had bad experiences. We can get into that if you like a little bit later. But the lesson being is it takes time to find the right person, and I found a good developer, and I trusted him, and we built a relationship over time, and that's how I handed off that part of the work development work with him to him. But another important thing I did was, since it was my first product launch or first software I want to introduce to the world, I needed to partner up with somebody. That was my first strategy. Is I need to get it out there. And how do I get it out there? Let's connect with somebody who has an audience that can use this product. And it's actually a very interesting story. I was around the same time I was creating. This is back in April of 2013. So I started development. I started creating it, and then I wanted to say, who am I gonna find to partner up with? I said, let me start building, and then at the same time start searching. And at the same time, it's pure coincidence. I was the Sean Malarkey. People who've heard of Sean Malarkey, he has his own podcast, The Money Pillow, and he also is the owner of kind of Inspired Marketing, which owns a lot of Video Traffic Academy and a lot of social media type courses. So I knew he had a big audience, and he asked for help. He posted something on Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm looking to help. I'm looking for help video editing. Can someone, shoot me a message? I'd love some help editing a video." And I just jumped on it. I happened to be just on my phone that second. He just posted it. I jumped on it. "Hey, Sean, I'd love to help you out." Anyway, so I gave me all the details. I worked. I put in a lot of extra effort. I wanted to kind of make a good impression. And did that, and it was about an hour interview, and I spent a few hours on it. I wanted to make sure it was done right. And what happened after that is, he said, "Hey, I'm starting a podcast. I have all these interviews. Do you want to edit them for me?" And I'm thinking, this is not really what I want to do. Editing is, great and fun, but it's time consuming. But I knew that, like, if I helped him out, I can offer value to him. And, I want to build a relationship with him. So that's what I did. I said, I'll take it on. And I edited some more. And then I worked with him more, and we found an editor. I helped him find an editor so we can outsource that part of it. So I guess, long story short, we ended up, I just told him on the side, "Hey, I'm working on this idea on the software. What do you think of it?" Because I knew he had the audience. I knew he had people who were interested in YouTube training. They've been buying YouTube training products from his company. And I said, "Hey, I had this great idea. Check it out." And I told him the idea. And the funny story is, he said, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And that was pretty much it. And I was like, "Oh, man, did I just miss a big opportunity here or what?" Like, I didn't do a great job selling him on the idea. And then a few weeks go by. We're talking again about editing some more projects. And then I said, "Hey, let me show you something." So at this point, I had something to show. I had a little prototype working, and I showed it to him, and he's like, "Wow, this is awesome. Can it do this? Can it do that?" I said, "No, not yet, but we could add that." And then I got him excited on the idea. And so it was very interesting how just showing him the product versus trying to pitch an idea made a huge difference. It helped kind of get him convinced on board, and that's how we ended up. I ended up doing the launch with him to his audience, and which was a great plan for me, because I got the product out there in front of the right audience, and we sold a lot of copies pretty quickly.
So how long did it take you? I don't know if you mentioned this, but specifically, how long did it take to develop it from idea to the first shippable version?
So the idea was around April of 2013. That's when I was dabbling with the idea and got someone working on it, and the launch was November. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So around 7 months.
Yeah. What do you think in terms of that time length? Is that about average for something like you were doing, faster than, or would you have liked to have done it faster, or what?
I can definitely have done it faster, and I did do it faster the second time around with my second product. But for my first product, I was happy with it, 'cause I had to learn a lot. I had to learn managing developers, and then also what happens in terms of, like, how do you license the software so that doesn't get distributed for free. So there was a lot of learning up front, and so I'm pretty happy. It took about 7 months, and I was, what really helped was that Sean was kind of taking over the marketing, which offloaded a lot of the work on the marketing side. So my main focus was the development side, managing development team, and getting that idea converted to a real product. And he took care of the marketing side. So yeah, 7 months is I wouldn't say typical, but I think I'm pretty happy with it for the first time around. And there's a lot of lessons learned and a lot of things I applied the second time around for my second product. But it was a great experience, and I'm happy with the results so far. And more important, I'm happy from what I learned from going through it, because you see a lot of people launching software.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into software or launching info products, and it all sounds great. They have six-figure launches and all this stuff, but you don't really know how much work is involved. And you have to go through it once, and do it, and you'll learn a lot from it. That was the most value I got out of the experiences. I learned development, how to manage development teams, how to filter out the requests. Filter out like what's not good, what's not required versus what's required. So I did a lot of extra stuff I probably didn't need to do in the first release. So learning through experience was what I got out of the first experience. And then it was a whole new experience once it got launched. And I think within 24 hours, we had 100 customers. And that was another learning experience, because with WordPress plugins, because the WordPress plugin that we released, it's very tricky in a sense that you don't have control over your environment. So the plugin gets installed on someone's WordPress site that could have who knows what plugins and who knows what theme and what kind of conflicts can occur. So you can't really test that. So we had a support team ready, including myself, to jump on people's sites and address any issues that we had. So that was quite a learning curve, and I was happy that we limited it down to 100 people, because we knew it was the first launch. We called it a beta, and we limited it to only 100 sales, just because we want to make sure the product worked on many people's sites.
Okay, so take me through that. So when you first launched this simple video press, you got 100 customers right off the bat.
Yeah. So actually, before that, what we did was Sean put out a post. He said, "You know what? We're looking for beta testers for a new software plugin we're working on." So we got about 20 or 30 beta testers. Actually, this is a very good point. Before we launched it, this is probably a few months before, maybe August timeframe. We said, "You know what? Let's get people using this thing, iron out all the glitches." So we got 20 people on board on a private Facebook group. We kept it simple. And we had a good conversation with them, and people used it. And the interesting thing was, people were raving about it. They loved the idea. They loved it. They had glitches, of course, and we worked with them to fix it. But that was a good sign. It's a good validation that what you're creating is actually offering value, and people are willing to use it. So we had a beta group back in, I would say, August or so, and then a few months later we launched. And even though we had a beta group, we still limited the launch to 100 sales. We wanted to make sure that those 100 people installed it, they're up and running with no issues. So I think that's a very good strategy if you're launching software for the first time, because software, especially WordPress plugins, can be tricky. It can be tricky, and you don't know your environment that you're dealing with, and it's variable. People change. People have different plugins installed. We found a lot of conflicts with different plugins. So we had to work quickly. The first week was chaos. The support tickets are coming in. We're on it. Almost 24/7. So I recommend.
That's interesting. That's a good point too. Tell me then about how you, from that first group of 100, how you scaled it, and maybe if this ties into the second piece. You said you learned a lot of lessons from this one that you then applied to the second launch. So tell me a little bit about that. Maybe that's a separate question though.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about how we scaled up.
Yeah.
After we first launched, the first 100 sales, they came in within 24 hours, I think. Because what we did, sorry, I forgot to mention, what we did before was we wanted to build a little bit of excitement. So we created a coming soon page, and we had a little video. I had a little teaser video about what the product will do. And we kind of put it up there, and we said, we use just social media, Facebook primarily, to get people excited about this thing. And Sean had a good network, so he sent a few emails about a product that he's working on. And I think, I forget exact numbers now, but we had a good number of people sign up for this coming soon page about a month or so before the product was launched. So the goal was to have a coming soon page get that email list of people who are excited about this specific product. And when we first launched, that coming soon list had first priority. So they had the first priority to get in and get the software. And then after that, if there was still room, we opened it up to another email list that Sean had, which was people who have bought video related products from him, video training courses, specifically YouTube training. So that got us our 100 pretty quickly. We closed down. We still had an opt-in box saying, okay, we're closed down. We're opening in a few weeks again. Leave your email. So that email list kept growing, the early notification list. And we did it again, I think a few weeks later, after our support tickets gone down. Things are stable. We released a few updates. So it was, we had a support person. We hired a support person full-time. I think it was about 12 hours a day. So from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And just to take in the tickets, and I was working, and then the developer was also working with me to hop on people's sites and fix things, and then make the software better. So I think we closed for a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks, while we fixed issues. Things got stable, and then we kind of did it again. We said, okay, doors are open for another 100. We're more comfortable now. We released a new update, more fixes. We can take on another 100. And we did that again, I think within 24 hours. We got another 100 on board. And I think we did that a few times. And so we closed for a few weeks, open again. And then I think after, I guess, a couple of months, we just kind of left it open as, we're comfortable now. The product is solid. It's working well. Tickets are very minimal now. And this is, it's available to anybody.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit about what you learned and how you applied it to the next launch and the next the development of your next product, which is similar. At least it seems similar from the title and description. But tell me a little bit about that Simple Podcast Press and what you learned and how you applied it to this second product.
Yeah. So once things got stable and things were going well, I got that itch again to kind of create something new. It's kind of, I don't know if it's an entrepreneur thing or just me, or people had this itch to create. So that's what I wanted to create the next one. I had success. I had a lot of fun doing this first launch. And so I said, let me go ahead and create my next product. So what's the next product? And I knew podcasting because I've worked with Sean and a few other people to help them launch their podcast. So I was familiar with the process and what's involved. So I said, let me apply the same principles from the Simple Video Press into the podcasting world. And of course, I have to tweak a little bit because podcasting is different than YouTube. But in general, I applied the same principles. So the good thing is I got to I had this foundation for the first product, the Simple Video Press. I was able to kind of use that. So the development was a lot less this time. It cost a lot less. It was a lot faster because I already had a base that I can work with. So that was great. So if you're launching something, I guess that's the thing I benefited from that people can think about is if you're launching something, a second product, a second course or second software, see if you can piggyback off the first one, especially the highlights of the first one. So one of the things that I learned is that sometimes you come up with an idea or you have a vision for a product, and then when customers use it, you might think you have one hot selling point, but when customers use it, they might like something else a lot better. And you need to tailor your marketing to make it what the customers how the customers see the value, not what you think the value is for your product. Let me give you an example. Like when I first came up with the video press, I liked the automation part of it, where it takes all the videos and it puts them on your website. I didn't even think about putting an opt-in box below. So I was talking to Sean. He goes, "Oh, you got to put an opt-in box so people can collect emails below each video." I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool idea." And I didn't think that was a selling point. That turned out to be the hottest point of the whole product. I mean, people love that it's automatic, but people love that there was an opt-in box there. So we changed the marketing to talk about the opt-in box as a lead generating tool. And when I did the second product, the Simple Podcast Press, I made sure that the opt-in box was the main focus or one of the focuses of the product, because people create content to generate leads for their business. An opt-in box is a great tool to collect email addresses. And if it's all automated, you make that the main focus, automation and the list building, then you kind of speak the language of the customer.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I kind of rambled on that. But to answer your question, really, the thing that I really learned is you speak the customer's language, and you don't close off your thoughts. Like if you think your product is meant to do this, but customers are using it for slightly different purpose or enjoying one special feature that you didn't think was that important, make that the focus of your marketing. That's the lesson I learned.
Awesome. I'm starting to look. I'm looking into software development, and in this concept, and some of the things that I've read or learned from it. People say, well, don't be careful, because it's quite a bit of work when you create something like a plugin. When it comes to like maintaining it and keeping it up to date and things like that. So now that you have two of these going, how much are you doing on your end? How much have you had to hire employees? Have you had to hire, consistent assistants, virtual assistants or anything like that to maintain this? And how much time do you spend on just, the maintenance or engineering aspect of these two products?
The second product is more fresh. It was released back in August, and it's getting more maintenance now. Like it requires more maintenance because it just came out, and the maintenance is not really like issues or bugs. Like it's not problems. It's the requests that people come in, and this is the hardest part. It's not specific to plugins. It's kind of generic across the software. Is you're going to have people asking for features. Oh, can it do this? Or I wish it did this. Well, you'd get more sales if it did this. And then you're kind of torn. So this is the challenge I find the software, with both softwares. You get a lot of requests. And what I do is got a simple spreadsheet that I just kind of keep track of the requests. And if I get multiple people, then I keep track of the number of people that request it and who requested it. And if I get the same request 3, 4, 5 times, then we add it kind of to the queue, and we add it to as a feature. If it's not a huge redesign, as long as it sticks with the core functionality, it's not doing something that's outside the functionality, we consider it and we'll implement it. So yeah, to answer your question, the simple video press has been pretty solid. For the past 3-4 months, we haven't done anything. We test with every release of WordPress, make sure it's compatible with the latest version of WordPress, etc. But we've had very minimal maintenance on the simple video press. Even the requests for new features hasn't been coming in. It seems that people are happy with it. We have over 500 people using it right now. So the maintenance happens usually early on. I would say the first 2 to 3 weeks is a bit chaos. When you first open the doors and you get people using it, you're going to get a lot of you need a developer. So you need a developer that's kind of on call, ready to go, either full time or at least kind of a good relationship where he's available to help you, and he's not too busy to help you. So the team I work with, they're all on contract basis. I don't have a full time person. So if you're doing a launch and I would make sure you let your developer know, you coordinate with your developer that the first couple of weeks that he should be kind of available to help you.
Gotcha. So do you mind sharing the total numbers that you guys have for both these different platforms? Or actually, yeah, I'd like to know that. And then the first one was with, did you say, was it Sean Malarkey? Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And then did he help you co-develop the second one, or no? Was that these are separate businesses?
They're separate. Okay. I mean, I worked with Sean because I pitched the idea to him, and he was excited about it, and we worked together the first time around. And we're actually working on adding more features, kind of doing another launch of the simple video press in the next few months. But the second one, I kind of wanted to do it myself. And Sean knew what I was doing. I was not a secret, nothing. We still have a great relationship where we're still obviously working together on the video press. But I wanted to kind of see the marketing side. I didn't really get exposed too much on how to do a product launch and then on the marketing side too much, because he handled all that. That was his area of expertise. So I wanted to kind of I wanted to learn that process and hands-on. and that's what I did. I did it by myself, and so the development was a lot less, but the learning and connecting with the podcast community and learning what people really want and focusing on really adding value to people who do podcasts, that was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of work, it was a lot of fun. And what I did was I started early. Like I joined the Facebook groups and kind of listened. I really listened to what people complained about or what people had questions about. And I made note and try to see if this plugin can solve it in any way. So that's how I kind of got a lot of the feature requests. And then when it came time to beta testing, like I had something that's kind of working. And so I reached out to kind of did my research and who's like the Dave Jacksons and the John Lee Dumas and all these people who are big podcasters. I reached out to them and told them what I'm working on. And a lot of them said, yeah, that's pretty cool. But nobody really had time to play around with it and use it. And actually, funny story. One of my beta testers was interviewing John Lee Dumas for his podcast, and then John saw this plugin. He goes, "Well, what is this thing that you're using?" It's like, "Oh, it's this new beta that I have, a simple podcast press." And he's like, "Whoa, I want this thing. Where can I get it?" So one of my beta testers, he introduced me to John and got him set up. And yeah, he's been great. He's been great helping me kind of fix things and give me guidance on what he'd like to see in it. And then people like Dave Jackson are using it now. So like people, it kind of took some time, but I think one thing that really helped was in-face networking. Like I was at the podcast movement conference in August. It was one of my first conferences that I went in person, and I met a lot of people there. And I think that helped because I gave a product demo there during the break, and people were kind of like, "Oh, this is new, this is fresh, it's an interesting idea." So, and then people got to know me, went out for dinner after, and we're just chatting. So people got to know the person behind the product, and that really helped kind of build that trust. And yeah, it's slowly getting traction right now.
Yeah, tell me about that. What are the main ways that you're building an audience around this, or rather, acquiring new customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, we're about 100. I'm about 100, just over 100 people using it right now. 100 websites using this right now since August. And I'm just trying out different tactics. Right. What I tried first was just getting this like powered by Simple Podcast Press link below. So every time somebody installs on their website, they get this powered by Simple Podcast Press. So I added that feature to kind of build awareness. And of course, people can turn it off if they don't want to. But what I enticed them by is I set up an affiliate program so that every sale, if someone clicks on that link on your website, you get a commission for every sale that if someone decides to buy it because of your website, then you get a commission. So I set up an affiliate program. It's not huge, but it's something. It's motivation. So people are keeping that link, the powered by Simple Podcast Press link. And the nice thing about it is it's a unique player, like compared to what's out there, what's been out there prior to it. It's something that stands out when you see it, like, oh, this is interesting. It's a nice big player with an opt-in box and some buttons that's say subscribe on Stitcher, SoundCloud. So it's something that's visually different. So when people see it, they're like, oh, this is interesting. This is different. And then they see the link below, powered by Simple Podcast Press. They click through and they learn more about it. So that's just one channel. Another thing I did recently was I made a report. So one of the selling points is automation. Like it automates, it takes all your podcasts and it puts them on your website automatically. That's one of the selling points. So I decided to make a report, like a free report that's kind of around the idea of automation. And I give 10 tips to automate your podcast or to help speed up podcast production. And I do mention the plugin in a few different places within the report. So I've offered that report. I haven't run any ads yet, but I've asked people in Facebook groups to help promote this report. So people have send the link to the landing page. People opt in, they get the report, and they learn a little bit more about the plugin there. So it's a small channel. It's not a big channel. But what I'm thinking about doing now is webinars. I want to get into webinars. I hear those are good ways to kind of give value, but also like visually show the product and visually teach something, and you'll get a lot more. You get a lot more conversions, I guess. Like you get more people to see the product in person and kind of consider it more seriously. So I would say the biggest source of like referrals has been kind of word of mouth / this powered by Simple Podcast Press. That's just when people see it, they ask, "Hey, where do you get that player from?" And that's been my biggest source, I'd say.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, Hani, thanks so much for, sharing with us the story. I think it's infinitely fascinating, and I always think it's cool when somebody can start any kind of company from scratch, but especially software, I find very fascinating. And I think this is a great look into it, and I appreciate your transparency and taking us through that journey. So but to wrap up, so one, thank you. And then the second thing is, where can people reach out to you and check out what you are building?
Oh yeah, they can. Well, thanks for the opportunity. I'm glad I could have talked about it. I enjoy talking about it, so I hope I didn't talk too much and take up too much of this podcast interview. But
no, it was great.
People can reach out and they can reach me at simplevideopress.com. They can check out the plugin there. That's the video automation, or simplepodcastpress.com. They can reach me there. But really, if you look me up on Facebook or Twitter, I'm on facebook.com/Hani Mourra or twitter.com/Hani Mourra, which is HANIMOURRA. I'm happy to hear. There's a contact button on all the different sites as well. So if you can't find me on Facebook or you got a question, just go to Simple Podcast Press. There's a contact form. Reach out to me there. I'd love, even if you're just curious about software development or anything, I'm happy to talk. So, so I'm open to, I'd love hearing back from you.
Awesome. Hani, thank you so much, man. It was really great. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Tom.
And that wraps up another broadcast of In the Trenches. If you're interested in checking out the show notes, just head over to tomworkus.com/podcast to see our latest episodes. Also, I just wanted to give a quick update to fans and listeners of In the Trenches, and specifically what I'm working on right now. For the past 2 years, I've been publishing books, my own and others, through Insurgent Publishing, my boutique publishing company. In the past 6 months alone, I've helped 4 individual authors launch their books to bestseller on Amazon, including Dan Norris's The 7-Day Startup and David Nihil's Do You Talk Funny, among others. And both of those books are still top of the charts months after launch. I've learned 2 important things from all this. Number 1, that people still read books, and believe it or not, they're willing to pay for the good ones. And number 2, the $60 billion book industry is only getting bigger, and the barrier to entry is only getting lower, which means access to this market has never been closer to the average writer, blogger, or author. It is literally within the grasp of anyone who wants it. But you need to know how to approach it the right way, with patience, with a strategy, and with the right implementation and execution. That's why I've been able to launch so many bestsellers, many that are still top of the charts, because we brought great books to the people who wanted and would pay for them. No slimy sales tactics, just honest, powerful marketing. Now, I want to show other authors and publishers how to do the same. 4 months ago, I launched the pre-beta to a new super secret platform called Publishers Empire. In that time, I've helped a dozen authors and publishers start to bring their ideas to life. And with their help and feedback, we've quickly developed what is, in my opinion, the best, most comprehensive publishing training platform in the world. And now I'm getting ready to open the doors up to a few more students. So if you're interested in being part of a tight-knit family of publishers who help and support one another through their writing and publishing projects, if you want access to over 100 HT training videos to take you through the writing and publishing process, if you want access to proven copy and paste book marketing and sales copy, stuff that we've used to launch bestsellers, and if you'd like professional book covers and templates you could plug your own work into and look like a pro in minutes, and if you'd like all of that while getting the chance to be mentored by me, check out publishersempire.com and sign up to be notified when we launch. That's www.publishersempire.com. I hope to see you there. As always, this is Tom Morkis. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Thank you for listening to In the Trenches. Your creative work doesn't stop here. Join the Resistance, the small but growing army of entrepreneurs and artists putting a dent in the world at www.tommorkis.com. Never fight alone. Join the Resistance.